The following is a presentation of TFNN. Trade what you see with Larry Pesavento. Call now, toll free at 1-877-927-6648 or internationally at 727-873-7618. Now, Larry Pesavento.
Okay, looking good, Billy Ray. Feeling good, Lewis, is from the offices of Duke & Duke, our auxiliary office in Istanbul, Turkey, where I'll be speaking to a very nice group of people from Syria, Iran, and also from Turkey. So this will be a fun day today. Okay, let's move on to one other thing I wanted to mention. I brought the first chart up, which is the German DAX. You can see here, we're back at the old high. It looks like we're getting ready to make a three drive to a top pattern. And then I also wanted to bring up one that is quite interesting here. This is the 15-minute Nasdaq chart of the futures, and you'll see we're up to that 36,500 level. And if we look at this on the daily chart, you'll be able to see that we're also at that. The S&P, of course, has gone and hit the magical 4,200 level. So we're going to see if we go. We've had a big outside day today, folks. We started the morning early, Sunday evening, and the markets opened slightly lower and immediately jumped up, was the first indication this probably was not going to be a bearish day. And of course, it's continued to run, ever since. So we'll watch that continue to run. That was a surprise to me. I really thought we had a chance to have maybe a 2-day correction in the market, but they don't have those anymore. The markets are going to keep going up forever. I've had a question about Bitcoin. I will just give you my 2 cents worth, folks. I'm a chartist. That's what I do. That's what I am. I don't do anything more than that. I hear stories. I listen to what people are talking about. But all I do is I look at the charts. Now, I want you to remind yourself, back in 2019, in January, we hit 20,000 in Bitcoin. And from 20,000, it dropped to 3,200, 3,100, something like that. That was a 80% correction. Since Bitcoin has become popular since 2012, it has had 4 80% corrections. I know it's hard to believe, but when you have an 80% correction, when it goes from $100 a coin down to $20 a coin, that's an 80% correction. Well, we've had 4 of those, and we're in the 5th one right now. Now, the 5th one, if it's going to be an 80% correction, is going to take Bitcoin to around 20 to 25,000 per coin. Now, I don't know if that's going to be the case or not. All I can tell you is if you look at the ABCD structure on this, it's just as beautiful as anything else. And it has to be because the public is involved in this, folks. That's where it's all coming from. They trade this stuff 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. And you can see the 3 drive to a top pattern, the major ABCD. Then you come down, you make the head and shoulders at 60,000, and all of a sudden you drop in half. Well, when you drop in half, that's nothing new when the market's that volatile. We haven't seen anything like that in our stock market for a long time, and we probably won't. They're probably going to be, looking at something much stronger day by day. That I don't know. So let's keep in mind. Now, one of the themes that I was looking at today for the newsletter was the fact that so many of these things that we looked at with the agricultural markets were really looking quite bearish. And of course, the markets gapped down sharply Sunday night because of the fact that there was some rain in Brazil and some other things going on with demand. And corn, we were long the corn. It gapped below our price. We had a stop in at 642. We bought it at 622, and we tried to lock in $1,000 profit. It opened 4 cents lower than that. The opening was 640, but there was only a few people that ever got filled there. 639, 638 was the usual one, which locked in, not a paltry amount, $900, but it continued to go lower. Now, all I'm doing when I'm looking at these charts is, I can see danger signs all across the board. Those of you that belong to 24/7, I've sent out videos on the grain markets on why they did look so scary. And that doesn't mean it's over, folks. It just means it's having a big correction. maybe it is over. That I don't know, but we're having, some severe things here. The thing to remember is, just remember 10 days ago, they said there would never be a top in corn, straight up, and maybe they're going to be right. But so far it's dropped $1 a bushel in the midst of the most bullish fundamentals corn has seen in, I believe, 8 years. So just remember, when you see things in the news, that's not always what it means. So pay close attention to that. Speaking of commodities here, I wanted to bring this to your attention. This is the chart of what's been happening in high-grade copper and also in Midwest cold-rolled steel. This is how they make cars and all the other stuff. Look where these things have gone, folks. They've gone from steel has gone from $500 to $1,500, triple in price. And of course, you can see copper has gone from 220 all the way up to 460, I believe, was the high. No, it was more than that. I think it was 480 was the high. And so those are some of the things that you got to remind ourselves. Now, whether that builds into inflation or not, I don't know, folks. All I can tell you is that's what you're seeing when you're looking at these things. So remind ourselves when we're looking at these charts that they're an indication of what has happened and what might happen in the past. That's really what we're watching. So just remind ourselves that this is what it's all about. It's about risk control, how much money you have to risk, not how much money you're going to try to make. That's the main thing. I wanted to bring the chart up of the December corn. I wanted to show this because it was a spot here that was so perfect, and I want to get this up so we can take a look at it. This is where we were as of Friday, of course. You see where we closed at 546. It stopped exactly at the 61% retrace and the 382 retracement at 521. And of course, it went up 30 cents. We got out of it at 538. It's now trading below 530, I believe. And if this breaks, we're going to have a little bit more of a correction in here. But this is how these markets go. They have these vertical moves, and we're seeing vertical moves in a lot of things in the stock market. Unfortunately, that's not going to be the case to see that thing, because it keeps going up, and it'll probably go up forever, and maybe even longer than forever. No guests this week, folks. I will not be here tomorrow. I'll be traveling again, and hopefully we'll get our act together and be with you guys on Wednesday. And I believe we have the 23rd. I believe we have Tim Boss coming on the. I think Tim Boss is for tomorrow, as I recall. But I'm going to move him over to Wednesday so that we'll be able to listen to what he has to say, because he's done pretty well, with these things, and especially with the cryptos. So we'll have Tim on listening to what he has to say. Crude oil hit over $65 a barrel today. That's been a really nice run from the 62.20 that we were in last week. We made a ABCD pattern there, and it's had a nice little run to the upside. So one other question that one of our listeners has asked, and that is about one of the FANG stocks that we follow, and I'll bring this up right now, and that is, take a look here. This is Tesla. We'll be right back here.
Markets can rise and fall like the tides. Subscribe to Basil Chapman's newsletter, The Opening Call, and you too can ride the wave. Basil Chapman is an authority in technical analysis. His Chapman Wave trading system has been helping traders identify trends and capitalize on momentum in the markets since 1984. TFNN invites you to test Basil's proprietary Chapman Wave trading methodology with a monthly subscription to the Opening Call newsletter for only $149. Your subscription to the Opening Call comes with a 30-day money-back guarantee, as well as daily market updates on key indexes, stocks, and commodities. Ride the wave! Sign up for the Opening Call risk-free today.
If you're not currently using the Taz Profile Scanner when looking at setting up your trading opportunities, then your arsenal is short a mighty weapon. The Taz Profile Scanner is a standalone piece of software that instantly filters over 2,500 global financial markets such as stocks, ETFs, commodity futures, and Forex. Headed by Steve Dahl, Taz understands that in today's technological world, the use of top-flight software applications and technical analysis expertise is essential to successful trading in today's market. You also gain access to the webinar that Steve Dahl and Tom O'Brien just hosted, The Best Way to Use the Taz Profile Scanner to Profit. This webinar archive is available for all subscribers immediately upon signing up. All new subscriptions also come with a 30-day money-back guarantee, so you have nothing to risk. Start your subscription by visiting the front page of TFNN.com today, and you'll find the Taz Profile Scanner under the Services tab. Sign up today.
Hey there, I'm Andy Arbertine with Tiger Precious Metals and Stones. Whether you're looking to buy and sell precious metals or trying to find the perfect diamond ring, I'm here to help. I have over 15 years of experience with diamonds and precious metals. You can call me directly at 727-329-8245, and I will personally answer any questions you have and help you find exactly what you're looking for. I will be your personal concierge in the metal and stone business. Give me a call today, 727-329-8245.
Many of our new listeners have heard about The Tiger's Den. The Tiger's Den is a lively community where professional traders and investors can meet, exchange ideas and information in a comfortable, moderated atmosphere. Hear all of the TFNN shows, plus see all of the charts as they happen live and have access to archives of all of those charts. You can test drive The Tiger's Den absolutely free for 30 days and greatly enrich your knowledge of these markets and how to make your money work for you. Details on The Tiger's Den are on the front page of TFNN.com. Call now, toll free at 1-877-927-6648. Internationally at 727-873-7618.
Okay, folks, we're back. I posted the chart of Tesla and regarding about, theory and technical analysis, and then you can see the head and shoulders pattern. It was made up at the top when the news was the most bullish. You can see the beautiful Gartley pattern, the 61% retracement on the 12th, and we've been drifting down from 762 all the way down to 539, and we've had a little bit of a bounce here recently. So that's another reason to take a look at technical analysis. Someone's asked the question, what am I going to be speaking about here in Turkey? Those of you that know me, you know that I have about 9 different languages that I can speak. Unfortunately, it means hello in each one of those languages and sometimes goodbye. But they asked me to talk about not what I learned, but how I learned it. And that was an interesting concept because I really learned the hard way, folks. I went to the School of Hard Knocks. I graduated magna cum laude of the 2 other students that were in the class with me. My toughest years, of course, were the 4 years I was in the 5th grade. But I did learn the hard way, and I had to bang my head against the wall to understand some of the things, and I still bang my head against the wall. So what I'm going to talk about today are some of the books that I learned from, some of the mentors that helped me along the way, what they taught me and how they taught me that, and some of the ups and downs that I've had in the markets through the years, especially, of course, the worst one was, 1974, the crash of 74, where I took 1.2 million down to a minus $2,800. I spent a lot of money on the way up, folks. So that 1.2 million is not quite right. It's more like about, because I spent a lot. It's probably about 600 that I lost. And I lost it in October. I lost the bulk of it in the crash of October of 1974. I was still very, very headstrong, and I still had, a little more than $500,000. And so I had a really nice cycle bottom coming in early October. And gosh, I loaded up the boat, and boy, the boat just took off from the dock, just started really great. We had 3 awesome days. The market just screamed up, and I was almost back to 7 figures. And then lo and behold, something happened. The market reversed on day 4, and day 4, it took out all of the gains from days 1, 2, and 3. And me being the little unbelievable person that I was at the age of 32, sitting on my hands there in the McCulloch Oil Building in Los Angeles. I sat there and watched it, and that was my demise was there, because my first mistake was, not taking care of the position. My second mistake was I really didn't take care of my position. So if you don't take care of it, folks, nobody else is going to take care of it for you. So you've got to, keep that in mind as you're looking at some of these things. But I will be talking about the books. One of the most important books, of course, was Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill, The Light from Many Lamps by Lillian Watson, and of course, Edwin Lefevre, the Reminiscences of a Stock Operator, which was about Jesse Livermore and, what he did and some of the stuff. And then, a lot of the technical books, of course, but, those are books that people look at. But the other books, talk about the psychology of going through. Two of my big breakthroughs, folks, was, first of all, losing all that money led me to something that more important than anything else, and that was that Gartley book. And after that, I was able to come back, and when that happened, I was able to get a job as a broker for one of big Wall Street firm, Drexel Burnham Lambert, and for 6 years I was bullish gold and silver, and you couldn't lose money from 1972 through when the gold first started trading. That was around 76 is when the bonds first started trading. Gold started trading, I believe, in 72 or 73, as I recall, at the COMEX and later on at the Merc. But if you were bullish, all you had to do was hang on. there could be a $3 break in silver. Well, it wasn't quite that much. It was only trading for about $4 or $5, but it would break 40 or 50 cents an ounce, and 2 or 3 days later, it would be making new highs. Well, I was using the old cycle work and Fibonacci stuff that I was doing, trading alongside the market, and you didn't have to be a rocket scientist to do that. And I got pretty good at it. And then at the end of the run, the whole plan was we made a great deal of money during those years from 78 through 80. And in January of 80, I had sat down and talked to all of the customers and say, look, we're going to be liquidating all these contracts in gold and silver in early January of 1980, because if you do that, you don't have to pay taxes on that for 18 months. And also, back in those days, they let you grandfather, you could do silver straddles. In other words, take the loss off against the preceding win and just keep rolling it over. Well, they whacked us pretty hard 5 or 6 years later when they retroactively said, no, you got to pay taxes on that. Well, still was okay. However, what happened was when we got into January of 1980, it was January the 20th when the gold had topped, and it had gone from 670 to 865. It dropped. It went $200 an ounce, basically straight up from around the 14th of October. Of January into the 20th of October. And it was limit up, I think, a couple of days. The last day, of course, it was limit up. And the spot was trading at 865, I believe, $13 higher than limit. And on that day is the day that Dees Gold, this was January, so Dees Gold 1980 was trading over $1,000 an ounce, and that made a big, big splash in the news. And that was the day that the market topped, and it ended up being limit down. It dropped $100. And that was the top of the market, and it didn't bottom for 23 years, as I recall. It was around 2003 when a man named Tom O'Brien rang the bell and said, hey, this is where we're going. And by golly, he coined King Dollar and King Gold, and those markets took off for a long, long time. So those are the type of things that I'm going to talk about, some of the experiences. And, I was just very lucky the whole way. Even lose a little money, that's no big deal. As long as you're healthy, I'm fortunate because I'm able to do what I love to do and have a lot of really great friends that help support me and stuff, and family too. So these are some of the things that I will be going over. And if it's recorded and I'm able to share it with you guys, I'll figure out a way to have TFNN make it available so you can listen to some of the questions that they ask and some of the stories that I'll be telling during that time. But that's what's on the agenda today. So we've got some really strong markets today. The big outside day in the S&P, smashing 4,200. So it's interesting here to see how these markets are going to move. I believe firmly, and I don't know when it is, I really don't know the answer to this, but we are going to have some corrections like we're seeing in lumber and some of these other commodities, that corn and soybeans and wheat and soybean oil. That's going to happen to the stock market, people, folks. That's just the way history is. I don't know when it's going to happen, but if you don't think that's going to happen, you're really being really naive. In other words, you're showing me a market that never goes straight up. There is no market that never goes straight up. Even Bitcoin and some of the others, they go straight up, but look what happens. They drop 80%. It's hard to explain to people that Bitcoin has dropped 80% 4 times since 2012, and nobody ever even talks about it. From 20,000 to 3,100 is 80%. And then it goes to 65,000. Hey, we'll be right back. 877-927-6648.
Hi, folks. This is Tom O'Brien. The printing presses are working 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. The U.S. deficit has risen 200% in 1 year with no end in sight. The markets are looking for an additional stimulus bill to get us through this once-in-a-generation pandemic. There is no free lunch, folks. The more stimulus dollars put into the marketplace, the less your dollar is worth each and every day. This is the time to protect yourself with a portion of your portfolio in the metal market. The Gold Report comes out each Monday morning. I bisect and dissect the dollar, silver, gold, the XAU, and the HUI. The Gold Report is a long-term hedge against the dilution of your buying power. The U.S. has put more than $6 trillion into the marketplace in the last 6 months, with more expected in the next few months. The market did and does need the stimulus, but it will have long-term implications on our buying power. The Gold Report comes with a 30-day money-back guarantee. Go to TFNN.com and order the Gold Report now. Protect your buying power. Order the Gold Report now.
You could be making money off the stock market. And if you're already making money off the stock market, you could be making a lot more. Check out TFNN and Tiger TV and get expert investing advice to give you the power to control your financial future. Go to TFNN.com and find the newsletter for you. Whether you're into trading gold, metals, futures, currencies, or options, you'll get advice and analysis to help you seriously get ahead. TFNN also features trading services with a 30-day money-back guarantee for new subscribers, as well as TFNN's Tiger Den Trading Room, trading software, and educational webinars for all trading levels. And make sure you check out Tiger TV for free on TFNN.com or TFNN's YouTube channel for live financial content from 8:30 a.m. to 4 p.m. Eastern on market days. Stop watching on the sidelines while other people get rich and become the investor you were born to be. TFNN, educating investors.
TFNN is excited about our new software charting program, The Art of Timing the Trade Charts. In collaboration with Tom O'Brien and using his best-selling book, The Art of Timing the Trade, Your Ultimate Trading Mastery System, David White has programmed an outstanding piece of software that will complement any trader's methodology. Using this first-of-its-kind program, The Art of Timing the Trade Charts allows you to scan thousands of stocks for Fibonacci formation setups, including Gartleys, ABCs, butterflies, and much more. The Art of Timing the Trade Charts is designed to help you when scouring the markets for stocks just beginning to form the trading patterns that many investors spend days, weeks, or even months searching to find. And right now, we're offering licenses available at only $79 a month. We are so confident that you're going to love this new charting software that will even give you a 30-day unconditional money-back guarantee. Don't miss out on this incredible new piece of software. Get your copy of The Art of Timing the Trade Charts today by visiting TFNN.com.
This segment is brought to you by Think or Swim. For more information, just click the Think or Swim banner on the front page of TFNN.com.
Okay, someone asked me a question about during that time in October of 74 when I was trading at Conti Commodities, did I ever get a margin call? Well, the margin calls were not like, we didn't have a NFA, we didn't have a CFTC. CFTC wasn't until 1975. And so the member firms, they were the one that set the margins. And if you're a big customer of them, I paid thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars in commissions. Remember, commissions were $40 per round turn. In and out, $40. What do you guys pay? $5, $3, $2, whatever it is. So, I paid a fortune in that stuff. So when I finally did, go debit on that last weekend or middle of the weekend in October, I liquidated everything at a minus, I believe it was minus 2,700. And that was early in the morning because it was limit down. I just wanted to get out. And so I got out. And then, of course, the market rallied, and that was the bottom of the market. That was October, I think, the 15th, and it just kept going up and up and up. But I was out, so I had to, redo it. I mean, I didn't cry. I was a little upset with myself, but I had learned a lot and had a lot of fun doing it. And I said, this is what I want to do. So I got to figure out what the heck I did wrong. So I went back to Terre Haute to see my college professor, and he laughed at me, and he said, "You think you're the only person that ever do anything like that?" And I said, "No, well, I guess not." He said, "Well, everybody's done it." He said, "Now you got to figure out what you did wrong and why you did wrong, and don't do it again." And here's the main thing I did wrong was I put positions on that didn't work, but the thing I did the dumbest thing you can ever do in trading, and I've been doing this for 61 years and I've never seen it work, is add to a losing position. I know you hear these guys that, scale down. Boy, and let me tell you, I've never seen anything any sillier than that. You stop and think, you're trading a market that you're wrong on your direction, and you're adding to a losing position. That's the thing that really kills you, is that, just doing the wrong thing. Let's take a look here at one of the things that we're looking at here today. Filling out pretty nice here. Hold on, we'll be able to see here. This is the T-bonds. You'll notice here that we're looking for an ABCD Gartley up here at around 157.28. I believe the high somewhere around above 158. I don't know exactly what it was, but that is a nice little pattern, nice little Gartley pattern. And it's certainly going to be interesting to see if it means anything or not. But that's everybody's buying everything today. That's it. Those of you that have asked me about the gold, we are still waiting to see the gold get to the magical level that we'd like to see, which is 18,197 an ounce is the 78% level that we're looking at, but so far that has not actually happened. Actually, now that we have the NFA and the CFTC, that's very good for the people. It's also good for the exchanges because it keeps people from over leveraging. So that's it. So we'll see what still be able to see. Mr. Z is saying he's long crude oil into this area, and who knows, it may go a lot higher. Mr. Z, it went above 60. If it's above 66, it's probably going to go to 67. We got a caller from Niagara Falls, Canada. Michael, how are you today?
Good afternoon. Thank you for taking my call. Three things. First of all, $1 in 1974 is worth, the multiplier is 4.98.
Okay.
So you lost $5.976 million in today's money.
I didn't quite, yeah, I know I didn't quite look at it that way, Michael, but thanks for reminding me.
Secondly, you went back to Terre Haute to talk with your commerce professors or your MBA professors?
Yeah, that was in Bloomington. Yeah, sure did, yeah.
I got news for you. I wrote off every university professor at the University of Toronto after I graduated. So because these guys don't trade. They're all theory.
Yeah. He
They're
did.
all theory guys. They put their money into the GICs, into CDs, and they talk about investing. They know nothing. They don't know nothing about stop losses, nothing. None of them trade.
Well, this one did, and he was very successful. The reason why he was at the university was because of the girls. He was a young guy. He's only like 27. Yeah. And when you're a college professor, it's a big deal. Anyway, thanks for calling in, pal. I really appreciate it. And be safe,
okay? The third thing is the Canadian dollar.
Yeah, it's looking good.
Yeah, I'm just in awe. Why is it up?
More buyers than sellers, Michael. That's the only thing I can tell you. That's one of It's one of the trades I was looking at for today. Is I think we're coming into topping action in the Canadian dollar, but whether we do or not, we'll have to wait and see.
Uh-huh. Do you see
By the way,
coming?
if you ever get down to Tucson, please come in and visit me, okay?
Okay, thank you very much.
Yeah, we'd like to have you come. All right, let's take a quick look at that Canadian dollar since we have our friend from Canada kind enough to call in. I'm going to bring it up right now. I'm going to bring up the weekly right here. Here's the weekly chart. Now, remember, this is in the midst of some really negative stuff. You can see back in March of 2020, made a major low down there, a double bottom at 68, and now you're banging on the door at of 83. And I think the thing that we were paying attention to, you'll have to help me today because I've been watching a little bit of the market and bonds and a whole bunch of other stuff. But if we take a look here on the 4-hour chart of the Canadian, you'll see that there's a potential we can get to this 83.50 level. Now, I don't know if we've gotten there yet or not, but that'll be one that I'll be watching. That would be up quite a bit on the day, and I was going to check that before the market started, but I just got real busy and I was not able to do that. So we'll keep a close eye. I hate to remind myself of this, but I will not be here tomorrow, folks. It's travel day. And on Wednesday, we will hopefully have Tim Bost on as our guest on Wednesday. And we will be, watching some other things that are going on in the markets. Okay. Now, another one that looks really interesting, and this is the one that we're focusing on quite a bit. This is the gold market. I want to get this up here because you see here, we're trading up above the 1880 level. The number we're looking at, you can see there, 1697. You see how it exploded out of that 1846 level. And that said that we are certainly probably going to get there. We got to 1691 twice. We got to 1688 and a half earlier today, and then it backed off about $12 or $15. But it's going to be interesting how it handles that 1697 level. That would be a 135 pattern where you have the two lower tops. One would be a 618, the other would be a 786. And that is a lot of pattern to pay attention to. So those of you that are in that gold market, pay very close attention to it anytime it gets near 1900, because I think it's going to run into some resistance. Now, remember, I'm not a fundamentalist, and I don't know, where the fundamentals are. Mr. Z, can you tell me where the last price of the last time I saw the crude, it was around $65. 65.20 or something like that. That was the last time I saw it. So I don't know where crude is right now. And since I can only do one thing, I can only do this show. I can't get prices. 65.84. So it's moved up, quite a bit more than it usually had been. We'll be right back, folks. 877-927-6648.
Are you in the market for buying or selling real estate in the Bay Area, including the surrounding St. Petersburg, Tampa, and Clearwater markets? Tiger Real Estate LLC is a firm that has extensive experience in the Tampa Bay area. Whether you're looking to sell your current property for maximum value, or you're in the market for a second home or investment property, Tiger Realty has the experience across all areas of real estate in the Tampa Bay area to help buyers and sellers make the most informed decisions across all price levels. From the price you should be paying per square foot in certain up-and-coming areas to the type of cash flow investment properties are capable of creating, Tiger Real Estate can help you make the best decision when it comes to all areas of the market. Before you make one of the biggest decisions of your financial future, call Tiger Real Estate LLC today at 727-329-8322 or email us at tiger@tfnn.com. That's 727-329-8322. Call us today.
The technology around us is changing every day. With so much happening, it can seem impossible to keep up with all the information. David White's investment newsletter, The Technology Insider, is designed to give you all the information you need to understand the technology that shapes today's markets and tomorrow's future. David White has made his living staying on the cutting edge of technology. His weekly newsletter will give you specific recommendations for value tech stocks, as well as entry prices, target prices, and stops to set for each trade. Dave delivers his weekly newsletters every Friday with updates throughout the week. You can get the Technology Insider at TFNN.com for only $37.50. Sign up for Dave's newsletter, The Technology Insider, and get an inside look at everything the technology sector has to offer. Try it risk-free today with our 30-day money-back guarantee. TFNN, educating investors.
Are China A shares hot or not? If you trade China A shares, now may be time to take a closer look. Trade CHAU or CHAD, Directions Daily CSI 300 China A Share Bull and Bear ETFs. China A shares in either direction. Visit directioninvestments.com today. An investor should consider the investment objectives, risks, charges, and expenses of the Direction shares carefully before investing. The prospectus and summary prospectus contain this and other information about Direction shares. To obtain a prospectus or summary prospectus, please contact Direction shares at 866-476-7523. The prospectus or summary prospectus should be read carefully before investing. An investment in the funds is subject to risk, including the possible loss of principal. The funds are designed to be utilized only by sophisticated investors such as traders and active investors. Distributor Foreside Fund Services, LLC.
Don't forget, you can listen to TFNN live on your mobile device 24 hours per day. Go to TFNN.com, then hit Watch Tiger TV. That's TFNN.com, then hit Watch Tiger TV for the latest market information.
Okay, we're back, folks. And remember, on the 26th of the month, I believe we're going to have a, lunar eclipse and a super moon deal. And I think that's where hopefully have Mr. Bost on to discuss that with us. So I think that'll be always very interesting. And he's been really spot on with some of these markets too. So we'll be able to ask him these questions. People that have asked me questions about Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies, folks, I know very little about them. I know the difference between a token and a coin, that kind of stuff, but I really don't. I rely on somebody else to give me the information that far more experienced than I am. But I do not believe this is a bubble market. I hear people say it's a bubble market, and maybe it is, but bubbles don't last 11 years. They last, they're straight up, straight down, and then it's over in the history books. This is not what's happening with this market. It's corrected itself, like I said, 80% 4 times, and we're in the 5th one right now. If it's really bullish, it's not going to do 80% this time, because this means we're in a new era, and going from 20,000 on January of 2019 to 65,000 that we almost hit 65,000. I think we did hit it. So that tells you that it's not a bubble. And a lot of people don't understand it. You hear, Charlie Munger and Buffett, which is okay. If they don't understand it, they can call it the biggest scam in the world. That's what they're able to do. But, just keep in mind that there's a lot of people putting money behind it nowadays. So that might mean that it has more life than people want to give it credit for. But it's tradable. We don't, these exchanges that they're on are different than the ones we have here. But some people have made a great deal of money on some of these that buy them for just a few pennies, and they go to, several dollars. That's a huge increase to take a look at it. Okay, now one other question that someone asked, and that was about another future that we look at quite a bit, and that is the hold on, get sugar up here. I want to get up here because we've had a pretty big move in sugar here, and we'll be able to see. Okay. Guys, I don't want to argue with you whether it's a bubble or not. I don't really know. And you know what? I don't really care because I'm not involved with it. I'm just looking at the charts. And if it is a bubble, we'll all be able to go back and say, wow, that's what it is. Anyway, look, you see what's happening here. We've had some type of a double top up here around 18 cents in sugar, and we're backing down to around 16 cents. There's going to be really strong support in the sugar around that 16% level. And that's pretty much right. You're right. John Jameson certainly understood Cardano. And believe it or not, and this is the absolute truth. He said the high on Cardano last week would be $2.50 a share. And the high on Cardano was $2.51 a share. And believe it or not, John, he is looking for Cardano to go to 60 cents and still be very, very bullish. So keep an eye on that one. Maybe something like that's going to happen, but it's not for the faint of heart. And you've got so many, guys with their baseball caps pointing the wrong way, when they're trading this stuff. And that's what the markets are all about. They're not shoeshine boys anymore. These are the millennials and stuff. And they move these markets, and they move them dramatically. And so those are a few things that you want to sort of remind yourself that that's what you're facing when you're dealing with some of these people. And you look what happens on the opening, folks. This is where these markets, where the opening price is so very important. When they explode off the open like that, that brings in herd buying. I mean, it really does. And boom, away they go. And that's pretty much, they don't stop looking back. That's absolutely for sure. So that's a main thing. By the way, I'd like for you to send out some white light. Some of my friends from Eli Lilly that I've known for many, many years have passed away, husband and wife, within 2 months of each other. Lived a great life, died beautifully. I mean, if there is such a thing as dying beautifully. And anyway, they were wonderful people and did a lot of good for folks. And Emil and Mary were just very, very dear friends. They were from Lebanon, and he was one of the people that introduced me to one of the principals that Bill Meridian worked for, and I worked for him for well over 5 years. I traded his account at Drexel, then also a little bit later, but he was always a dear friend, and they're both gone on to ways, but very, very lovely, lovely people. Great story. Someday I'll share some of them with you. There's one other question that someone asked me, and I don't know if I can answer it or not, is do I think that the stock market's going to go to 40,000? It very easily could do it, folks. Hell, it's at 34,000, 35,000 now. 5,000's nothing. I mean, we were at 28,000 just a few months ago. Just add that to that, and boom, you're at 40,000. Do you remember when, Bucky Dent was talking about Dow 40,000 when it was trading at 10,000? That's when Ralph Ocamporo, he said the Dow would hit 10,000 back in 95, and the guy he worked for gave him a brand new, totally reconditioned 1962 Corvette with the license plates Dow 10,000. And of course, he sold the car to put his kids through college, but it was really nice while it lasted. So I don't like to predict. I mean, when I give a prediction, it's because I'm looking at patterns, 3 drive patterns, Gartley's, butterflies, whatever it is. That's it. I said here several weeks ago, these commodity markets were looking very, very dangerous because of the vertical moves, straight up vertical ABCD moves, and the same way. So, just remember what Ronald Reagan said. Any government, and that was Thomas Jefferson, any government that can give you anything you want has the ability to take it away. And that's the way markets are, too. So remind yourself, folks, what goes up must come down. Maybe not the same day or close to that day, but those are the things that make these markets move, dramatically. And we'll see more of it as we go through. I've always said every day since I've been on this show, since 2007, that the volatility, we're going to see volatility like we've never seen before. And this is just the beginning. I think 2000 ushered it in, and we'll probably go through 4 or 5 years of volatility. Then we'll go for an area we won't have any volatility. But right now, this is just the beginning of it, because there's so much news out there, and some of it's right, some of it's wrong. But those are just a few of the things that you got to remind yourself of where we're going. Another question someone asked is about, do I believe this grain market is over? No, I do not. I believe we're going to have some huge rallies here, because we're still in the midst of a weather market. Some of these sprouts are hardly up. So you have to have corn as high as an elephant's eye on the 4th of July. And maybe that'll happen this year, maybe it won't. But they have to have a good crop this year, or we're going to have some problems, not only in the United States, but worldwide. And question about Palestine and Israel. They've been fighting since the inception of time. I think it's 3,000 years they've been fighting over there. So that's not going to change. It never has, and it never will, in my opinion. They have religious beliefs that are different, sociological beliefs that are different. So that's it. I have friends on both sides of that conflict, and I care for them both, but that's just the way they feel about each other, and that's not going to change. And I don't think it makes very much difference whether it does or not. Now, let's take a look here. Well, we've got a break coming. We've got to take a look at natural gas. Hold on here, folks. We'll be right back.
Sharpening your skills as an investor is like getting better at playing a musical instrument. You have to practice, sure, but you also need excellent instruction from experts. At TFNN, you'll get advice and guidance from the authority in technical market analysis. And it's not just dry, tedious text either. TFNN airs live financial content streamed live on TFNN.com and TFNN's YouTube channel with Tiger TV, live every market day from 8:30 a.m. to 4 p.m. Eastern, for free. Each host is an experienced trader and gives their take on the market while taking calls and questions live from around the world. From the moment the market opens until the closing bell sounds, Tiger TV has 8 different shows with expert hosts to help you make the right moves with your money. Watch online at TFNN.com or on TFNN's YouTube channel and become the investor you were born to be. TFNN, educating investors.
Markets can rise and fall like the tides. Subscribe to Basil Chapman's newsletter, The Opening Call, and you too can ride the wave. Basil Chapman is an authority in technical analysis. His Chapman Wave trading system has been helping traders identify trends and capitalize on momentum in the markets since 1984. TFNN invites you to test Basil's proprietary Chapman Wave trading methodology with a monthly subscription to the Opening Call newsletter for only $149. Your subscription to the Opening Call comes with a 30-day money-back guarantee, as well as daily market updates on key indexes, stocks, and commodities. Ride the wave. Sign up for the Opening Call risk-free today.
Introducing Primal Edge.
Today, it's even more important to take a supplement that complements your health. Primal Edge is specifically formulated to boost your immune system and help with weight loss, better sleep, stress reduction, and the need to detox.
Our early ancestors found all their nutritional requirements in the wild environment. But today, our food sources don't contain the vitamins, minerals, and nutrients that we need to stay healthy and strong.
That's why we need Primal Edge Daily Nutrition. It includes a special blend of ionic, soil-based vitamins, minerals, fatty and amino acids in an easy-to-use liquid form.
Primal Edge is powered by highly concentrated humic and fulvic acids, nature's preferred delivery system. They've been called miracle molecules because, like sunlight, air, and water, without them, life cannot exist.
That's right, Ellen. They ensure we receive all the nutrition we need to be healthy and thrive. We take it every morning.
Primal Edge. Just $89 exclusively at TFNN.com.
Hi, folks. This is Steve Rhodes. Stay tuned for another great hour of the Trader's Edge, heard here at TFNN.com.
Okay, folks, I posted the chart of natural gas, and we talked about this just about every day for 2 weeks, and that long period where we stayed in the area of between $2.90 and $3, and we popped above it. We went right up to the 78% level. Looked like it would never, ever look back again. And, of course, the next day it reversed everything, went back into that same resistance area. And, well, it's a support area now, so that's where we are. We're sitting there pretty much at the same level right now. Which direction it's going to go out of here, I have no idea. But if you had to make me a betting man, the trend is still up. I would be looking for a pullback around the 276 level. That would be very interesting to watch it very closely. It should have good resistance or good support at 288 also. should that fail, the next one would be 276, and that's the one that I would like to see, because then you'd have an ABCD structure, lining it up pretty closely. Regarding those of you that made some money on that corn trade, I'm back in the saddle looking for a place to buy it again. But we have to wait for the market to get clear this out that we've had in soybean oil, meal, and some of the others, because they're hitting it pretty badly. And these funds, when they get ready to leave the market, they push it down quite a bit, which makes it good buying. But you've got to be able to, monitor your risk at a very, very small level. Usually $300 to $400 at the most. And if you can make $800 or $900 on the $300 risk, that's the kind of deal that you'd like to have. That's what we're looking for. So live every day in an attitude of gratitude, and may God bless, folks, and try to help your neighbors out there. Even though this thing is supposedly over, there's a lot of people that are in real serious trouble, and try to do the best you can to doing it. Those of you that have helped the folks that I know you've done, I think it's wonderful that you've been able to do that. So continue to help others, because, that's what we're here for. And if you can't do that, ain't reason to be here. Live every day in an attitude of gratitude, and may God bless. Billy Ray Valentine, over and out.